Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing great. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss about an FMCG company called Well Industries. We're going to go through their, the recent result and understand the numbers and what the management said in one of their press releases. But before we get into that, let's understand their business model, what they actually do. So they're actually into selling off these biscuits under the brand of Rich Light, and majority of their current revenue comes from export. So before they started, their production facility in India, and which they are trying to expand it. So they have contract manufacturing with factories in Malaysia, where these factories manufacture these, biscuits and all these items, and put their label, and then it is exported to the GCC countries, especially in the UA side, and which is sent to these super stockists, and these super stockists export it not just into GCC but to the African side also. So majority of their revenue, if you look at it, right, 80% of the revenue comes from export, and around 20% of their revenue comes from selling the products in India. And we need to keep that in mind, right? Because you will understand why. We shall explain you further. If you look at the YOY revenue for Q4 FY26, it decreased by almost 17% to 200 crores, and PAT was down by almost 67% to 7.41 crore. And if you look at the whole year revenue, it was actually decent. It grew by almost 34% to 1026 crores, and PAT was up by almost 47% to 100 crores. So the what happened in the Q4, right? You might be all aware of the recent geopolitical issues and the war between Iran, Israel, and US, right, which has impacted the Strait of Hormuz and all the shipping lanes, right? And as I explained you about the business of natural industry, they export majority of the revenue comes from export. And unfortunately for them, their super stockists are based in UAE, so they send this export via ship to them. And because of this, how to say, the shipping lanes getting closed and all the impacts, increase in cost and logistics, it has impacted them, because that is the reason why the revenue did not grow. Obviously, the company did not had a con call, so we could not ask much question, but we can definitely make a sense, and that is the reason why the stock has been beaten up. What the management said in their press release, yes, there is an issue because of surge in cost and logistics, but they're saying the demand is there, and they're trying to find out ways how they can ensure that they're able to, how to say, export these products to the super stockists, so they can be distributed further to these various countries. It does not have a further impact, but that is what they're trying to do. But let's see how does it actually materializes, because we have to see the Q1 number, right? Because the Q1 number will tell us whether they're able to find a solution or whether they're still stuck to it. So what the management is saying, they're hoping that the things will stabilize and things will get better. But hoping is one thing, but actually really happening is one thing. So this also shows, sometimes the business does all the right thing, but because of, how to say, macro issues or this geopolitical issue, it can impact in a wrong way. And unfortunately for Nurturewell, because majority of the revenue comes from export, and that too in the GCC and African countries, and their super stock is been in the GCC country, it has impacted them really really badly. Let's see if the situations improve or not. And if you look from the growth perspective, right, the management wants in the last con call which they had, right, they had said they want to expand their presence in India, and they plan to distribute the revenue between export and India to 50-50%. Now with this macro issue happening, right, I think the management will be in frontline to get this done even at a much faster rate, because they have realized that these macro issues have impacted them in future. If they do not get this done at a much faster rate, it could impact them even further. And if you look at this, right, so what they're actually trying to do, so they have a current plan where they have a capacity of around 3,600 tons per month, with a revenue potential of around 200 to 225 crores. Currently, their capacity utilization is around 65 to 70%. They want to increase that further. At the same time, in this year, they have added two or three more lines, which increase their overall revenue capacity from 200 to 225 crores to 300 to 350 crores. So that is one thing that they have to do. And then they have this new plan which is coming up in UP, Secunderabad, and the revenue contribution, as as per the last guideline that they've given, it it will start contributing to the revenue only in FY28 and 29. And I think on both of this, they need to, how to say, concentrate even further and try to see if they can reduce the overall timeline in order to reduce their dependence on the export side. So that is one thing. And the other thing what they're trying to do is, right, they're trying to change the product mix by adding confectionery and baking items. So overall, if you look at the business side before this geopolitical issues, they were actually doing all the right thing. They realized that majority of the revenue came from export, and they wanted to expand their presence in India, and that's why they started their own facility, and plus they were planning they are planning to set up a new facility. But unfortunately, because of this macro event which has happened and which has impacted the company in a very bad manner, their dependence on this current plan, improving their capacity utilization as well as the new plan getting open up, it becomes even more important. And only once they are able to do it, their dependence will reduce on the export side. So we have to keep an eye, obviously, on the macro news as well as to see the Q1 number to see how well, you know, are they coming out of this or they're getting that deeper into this. That is also going to be one of the most important things that we need to look at. So let's see what happens. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. If you like this analysis, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you.